What you'll need to make this scarf is a size N or 10mm crochet hook, some snippy snips, and your good old-fashioned yarn needle. The yarn that I'm going to be using today is Woolies Thick and Quick, and the color that I'm going to be using is Spice, Charcoal, Butterscotch, and the good old-fashioned Deep Lagoon that has all these beautiful pinkish reddish hues that just go well with this spice color perfectly. Let's get started. So, number one, what you want to do is take your crochet hook and you are going to make a slip stitch. Make sure that your tail is somewhat long so that when you're crocheting, you can actually keep that in the loop, and then you can cinch tight your center point of the granny square later. So let me show you. Chain 3. Now we're going to insert our crochet hook in the first chain and do a slip stitch. Try to keep track of where your center point is. There we go, slip stitch. And here we go. You're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. You're going to yarn over and we're going to do a half double crochet. Okay, yarn over, go in the loop, making sure that your tail gets tucked into that stitch so it's pinned down while you're doing that stitch, so that once you get all the way around the loop, it has traveled all the way around, and then you can just cinch it tight and it'll look really, really good. So we're going to do 3 half double crochets. I'm on number 2 and bring it on home to number 3. We're going to move those over just a little bit, because what you want to do is make sure that you have enough room for 4 quadrants or 4 conglomerations of these stitches, right? Now we're going to chain 2 to create that corner space, and then we're going to go back in and do another 3 half double crochet. Oh my goodness. Obviously, it's been a while since I've crocheted, and I usually don't crochet with this big of a hook, so okay, you've done another 3. We're going to do another chain 2. Oh yeah. Okay, we've done another 3 half double crochet, and as you can see, I've got only 3 little clusters so far, and we need a 4th one. So let's do another 2 chain. We're going to crank those over, and we're going to finish up our 4th cluster with 2 half double crochets, because those 3 chains at the very beginning of your round count as one of the 3. So now what I'm going to have you do is cut your strand, give it a nice length so that you can weave it in later with your yarn needle. And then we're going to move on to the next color, which is going to be this gorgeous, 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 gorgeous Deep Lagoon color. Insert your hook into the 2nd chain at the beginning of the round. Take your new strand and pull it through, finishing off that last half double crochet of that cluster. See how it makes a nice seamless transition between the colors? Now we're going to chain 3 again at the beginning of the round. And we're going to do 3 half double crochets. So, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Now we're going to do 3 half double crochets into this corner hole. So essentially a granny square is just clusters building on top of clusters in a really consistent way. So every time that you do a chain or something in between a cluster, it's creating a new hole for another cluster to go, so it just expands on itself. Okay, so I don't know if I mentioned this, you do 2 chains in the corner, and then you do another cluster of 3 half double crochets. All right, do another chain, and then we're going to go into the next corner hole, and we're going to do 3 half double crochets. Do 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 do, ba 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 la ba, ba 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 do. Now you're going to chain 2 for the corner, 3 half double crochets. All right, so you finish your 3, chain 1, and now we're going to go into our fourth corner, 1, 2, 3, fourth corner, and do 3 half double crochets. Boop. Boop. Chain 2, 3 more. Do 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 do, ba ba do ba ba. Chain 1, and now just like the first time, you're going to finish off that beginning cluster by adding 2 half double crochets right here, and then we're going to finish it off just like we did the first time with a slip stitch with the next color. So go in there, 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochet, go into the second chain, cinch that tight a little bit, give yourself a nice long tail, bring in the new color, add it to your hook, and pull it through to complete that row. Cinch all these things tight real quick, just so that everything is all uniform. Okay. Make sure to not pull your tail through. I didn't mention that earlier, but it's important. You can hold it with your pinky so that it has a ground, has a nice amount of tension. Now we're going to chain 3 in your new color. I love this butterscotch color. I think it's very pretty. Okay. Do 3 half double crochets. Chain 1, go into the next hole, do 3 half double crochets, chain 1, then we're going to do our little corner thing where you do a cluster, chain 2, and then a cluster. And you know, when I say cluster, I really just mean 3 half double crochets, because obviously that's the theme we got going on here. Chain 2, 3 half double crochets, chain 1, 3 half double crochets, and then I'm going to skip on to the end. Alrighty, so you're back to the end. You're going to finish up that last cluster per usual with your final 2 half double crochets. Insert your hook into the second chain from the beginning of the round. Cut your strand, give yourself a nice length, and bring on the next color, which is our final strand of yarn, or final color. It's going to be this nice, beautiful charcoal. you're going to add it to your yarn. Nope, you're gonna add it to your granny square. And you're gonna do just like you've done in the past. You're gonna chain 3, and you're gonna do just the same exact thing that you did with the butterscotch round. And I will meet you back at the end of the row. Okay, so we're back to the beginning. I do my last 2 half double crochets. Come on you. Okay. And then I'm going to insert my hook into the 3rd chain. Yes, 3rd chain. I'm going to pull it through because this is our last color. Yeah, it can feel a little wonky, but what I'm going to have you do is pull the opposite corners apart and then tug all the holes on the perimeter apart. And that will kind of pre-block this for you if you're into blocking in the first place. Then what I'm going to have you do is cut yourself a nice long tail. Do something, yeah, double the corners is fine. That'll be plenty. If you don't have a lot of yarn and you're stash busting, do 1.5, but I have plenty of this yarn, so cut that strand, pull it through, give yourself a tight knot, weave in all of your ends right now. Do it now. Do it in between every time you make a granny square. I swear this will change everything. This will not be a project that gets lost in a bag somewhere because you are not wanting to weave in your ends. So let's weave in our ends together. I like to go through a cluster and then come back through, like jumping over one of these. And then you cut it. That is how you make your granny square. Next, we're going to take your granny square and attach it to another granny square. Because this is how you make the scarf. You just continuously make granny squares and then you attach them end to end to end. And I did interchanging granny squares. Would you look at that? I attached it before weaving in the ends. I didn't do that on any other. Crazy. I'll weave that in after I show you how to attach them, but that is absurd. Okay, so you take your long strand from one of your granny squares and you marry it up with a side that does not have a long end to it, because that's going to be saved for the next one in sequence. So you pick up your 2 ends, make sure that you have the right side and the right side both on the outside, and then you come back through the granny square that you're adding on, and then you come back through again. So you do a whip stitch basically, just to make that edge tidy. Now I'm going to go through the front, poke through, come around, and then continuously do a whip stitch, which is just in, around, all the way down the end. Okay, so now you're at the very end. Wow, I cut that really stinking close. And make yourself a tidy little knot and then weave in your tail, cut it if necessary. I like to weave it in the back. That doesn't, okay, good, that is the back. It looked too tidy for a moment and I thought that I had attached the wrong sides together. So I like to weave it in down the center where they were attached, tug that out. And now you have 2 attached granny squares. So continue to make granny squares in whatever color choices you want, just making sure that the perimeter is the same color. Attach them all together. And next I'm going to show you how to add tassels. So these are just kind of lazy tassels because that's kind of what I was looking for. It's just a really basic fringe. So I'm going to show you how to add tassels. This is my last granny square that's going to be attached to the scarf, which means that this is going to be my end. I've already cut my strands, but I will let you know that if you cut them the length of your forearm, so you go middle finger, ooh, come here, middle finger to your elbow, my elbow's right here. That should be ample unless you're crazy about like really, really long granny squares. But to get the look you're going for, you're going to take your ends, poke them through. Obviously, we have folded over our strand. Pull it through. Make sure that these are the same length. Pinch them, and then pull it tight. And then you're going to put one in each big hole that you've made across. So corner, 3 holes in the middle. And then what I'm going to have you do is put one in between each cluster, totaling in 9 fringe pieces or tassels or whatever the heck you want to call these. So make sure you put the feet in first so that you get the nice covering on this side. Otherwise it'll look like this and it's not as pretty, in my opinion. Okay, and you might be wondering, why the heck did she do blue when her other tassel was yellow or butterscotch? And that's because I coordinated it with the centermost point of the granny square to which the tassel is being attached, because I thought it was cute. And I mean, like, only I know that, but it really just made sense to me. And if you need to, you can cut your tassels so that they're all the same length. But yeah, if you measure them right, you should be good. Obviously, my yellows are a little shorter. Don't look at that. And that is how you make a granny square tassel-y scarf.